episode, we're going to take a look at some more iconic and awesome glassware from fast food restaurants in the 1980s. So, stick around. Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome. My name's Rob, and in this episode, we're going to talk about more fast food glasses from the 1980s. Last time, we talked at length about how things are different nowadays, and back then, getting a glass was just as great as getting a toy from a Happy Meal. I mean, they capitalized on some of the biggest franchises of the 80s and produced some glasses with some amazing art on them. Things that would get you excited, your parents excited, the whole family excited to have a nice new glass in their china cabinet. Well, maybe not to that extent, but a lot of people busted these out when they had guests, and they were deemed special glasses. My family had a few of them, and they were always kept on the topmost shelf of where we kept all of our drinking glasses. Of course, the plastic ones are on the bottom, and these were at the top, like they were honored and not to be used unless it was something very special. Let's kick things off with one of my personal favorites, and that is the Smurf Glasses from Hardee's. There were two different sets that were released in 1982 and 1983. There were 14 glasses released between the two series. You had 8 in the initial series and 6 in the follow-up. And both of them had different distinct themes, if you will. The first series theme was based on more just their characters and doing their character things. You had Hefty being strong. You had Papa Smurf being wise. You had Gargamel chasing everybody. You had Smurfs chasing the Smurfette on one. And you even had Brainy being just a smart aleck. And one of my personal favorites, Jokey, just blowing up a box. Like I said, just doing their normal character things. Now the second series featured a party theme. So the first series was already colorful. Now you made it even more vivid and colorful with a party motif. So you had confetti flying everywhere, and cakes, and punch bowls, and my personal favorite, Clumsy, dressed up as a clown. I mean, it was just, these things were so eye-catching and, dare I say, beautiful because of just how colorful they were. Now, it might be hard to believe because Hardee's now is the home of the Big Burger, but back in the day, Hardee's was awesome for their toys and their incentives like these glasses. I mean, they were a contender back in the day, and unfortunately, that kind of dwindled off. I mean, these Smurf glasses, that's a big deal because Smurfs were a big deal when they first came out. In 1982, 1983, I don't think there was anything more hotter for kids at the time. I mean, the figures were starting to mingle their way over here from Europe and have a big following. The cartoon, I mean, everybody watched the cartoon, and these glasses just capitalize on that awesomeness. So I have a few of them in my collection nowadays, but nowhere near the 14 that it would take to complete my collection. And yeah, as a kid, it was very spotty how many we had. I can't even recall how many we totally had, but we had a couple of them. We didn't go to Hardee's every week to get the newest glass, but what we did have, I cherished. And like I said, they were up on that top shelf, proudly displayed, and yeah, I loved gazing at them whenever I had the opportunity. Number 2 on the list comes from the year 1980, and from a restaurant that you're probably not expecting to be on this list. That is Arby's. And the glass, Pac-Man. I know. 1980, Pac-Man was in its prime, and for Arby's to have something this this popular is shocking. The glass sold for 65 cents and featured some great colorful artwork of Pac-Man himself gobbling up some ghosts. On the back side of the glass, or the front, depending on how you look at it, you had the game board, and it looked great. Like I said, it's kind of shocking that Arby's was trying to be a competitor at one time. I mean, nowadays, Arby's is Arby's, and they're cool for who they are. I mean, they roast people on Twitter, they do really cool wrestling type of tweets. I mean, they have a great social media presence, and the restaurant has a cult following. But back then, they were really trying, and yeah, the world would be a different place if they still were selling great toys and glasses and things like that with their food. Who knows how far it could have went. Just to show you how big of an event this glass really was, here's the commercial.
Who's eating his way through Arby's? Pac-Man! Arby's new Pac-Man glass is so popular, everything at Arby's is being gobbled up. There goes a roast beef deluxe. There goes a sub. Whoops, there goes our logo. Come to Arby's today for your fabulous Pac-Man glass. But you better hurry, that Pac-Man is insatiable. There's no stopping him. Get your official Pac-Man glass today, only at Arby's.
Now, number 3 on the list comes from McDonald's, and that is the Garfield mugs from 1987. And that's right, I said mugs. These were glass mugs that featured artwork straight from the comic strip. Kind of like the Peanuts glasses that we talked about last time. They feature Garfield being all sassy with word bubbles, or should I say thought bubbles. And yeah, these things were classic, and these are definitely glasses that you saw everywhere. Everyone had these. Garfield was a pop culture icon during the 1980s. And these glasses they just fit in everybody's glass cabinet. These were awesome. As a neat little factoid, these are actually kind of reproductions, if you will, from glasses that were released in 1978. Those glasses just featured artwork of Garfield, but they're pretty much the same make and model, just different artwork. Those glasses didn't come from McDonald's back then. They came from a company called Anchor Hocking. And yeah, I don't know where you would have found them back in the day. 1978, I was only 2, so I definitely don't have any recollection of these mugs, but the ones from 1987, I definitely do. There were 4 of them released in total, and like I said, they were everywhere. I'm sure they're still in some people's glass cabinets now, in their parents' house, their grandparents' house, maybe in their own home. So yeah, these are, you can find these everywhere online because everyone had them. They, like I said, were just part of the pop culture landscape at the time. Number 4 comes from another restaurant, fast food chain, however you see it, that, used to be such a great place, and it's just kind of fallen off in recent years. And yeah, they had their finger on the pop culture pulse at one time. Now, no pulse at all. And that is Pizza Hut. I don't mean to talk bad about Pizza Hut, but they had this glass, the E.T. glasses. How much bigger can you get? E.T., one of the biggest 80s movies of all time. And they were there with the glasses in 1982. There were 4 in total, and they feature beautiful artwork of E.T. in various scenes from the movie. You had E.T. with the stuffed animals, E.T. with his flower, E.T. with Elliot. You had E.T. with the whole moon shadow bike scene. You can't get more iconic than those 4 scenes, other than a glass with his white, dried out, husky body. But anyway, these were awesome, and I do not remember anybody having these glasses. Yeah, I would have remembered something like that because of just how much I loved the movie as a kid, and yeah, it did scar me a little bit, and I haven't really watched it since, but I loved it as a kid. And yeah, I would have loved to drink some Kool-Aid out of one of these awesome glasses. Now for an honorable mention. Just like last time, we covered a glass that came out in the 70s. So, it's not an official 80s glass, but it needs to get an honorable mention. And that is the Star Wars glasses from Burger King. Released in 1977, the Star Wars glasses from Burger King, who would have known they would have been the tip of the iceberg of what was to come. There were 4 glasses in total, and they featured more of like an Art Deco design. Now, I've seen these designs on posters, which I also think were released by Burger King, and it is some of the most awesome artwork ever for A New Hope. And yeah, I mean, these I do not remember at all. And yeah, I would have loved to see these as a kid. I would love to have them now. And these are actually a big collector's item because they weren't as popular as the future movie installments glasses. Now, I could go on and on and on about how awesome these glasses were, but let's just take a look at this commercial and you can bask in the glory of 1970s Burger King.
Burger King presents 4 bright, colorful Star Wars glasses.
Hey, it's Luke Skywalker.
And the princess.
Gee, wow!
Get your kids a different Star Wars glass each week. Buy a regular serving of Coke for 59 cents plus tax. Get Chewbacca. Get Darth Vader. R2-D2 and C-3PO.
What mission? What are you talking about?
We can get all 4.
Star Wars glasses at Burger King until August 17th.
Now, number 5 on the list was probably one of the most popular glasses that people talked about in the comments section and wondered why I didn't add it to the list. And I'll tell you why. I wanted it to be bookended with the last entry, the honorable mention. And that is Empire Strikes Back glasses from Burger King in 1980. Again, Burger King was the king of Star Wars back in the 80s and 70s. And yeah, look at them now, unfortunately. Great food, but they just don't have the star power like they did back in the day. I mean, these Star Wars glasses, everybody had them. I remember everybody just had them, and I knew some people that were friends with my parents that they coveted these glasses. They collected these glasses because that is just how big of a movie Empire Strikes Back was when it came out. Now, we definitely had some of these glasses. I don't think we had all 4 of them, but we definitely had some, and I remember them vividly. I mean, just the artwork is impeccable. The scenes that they depict are excellent, and they had a Boba Fett glass. I mean, as a kid, I knew I needed that glass, and I had it. And I had it up until probably a year ago before my cat knocked it off the shelf and destroyed it. So, one day, hopefully, I'll get it again. And, yeah, I mean, I see it at the flea markets, but just not for the price that I want to pay. One day, I'll probably crumble and get it for that price, but until then, I'll just be bitter at my cat for destroying a piece of my childhood. Anyway, like I said, these 4 glasses, some beautiful artwork, beautiful scenes, great characters, just, I think this was the glass line that kicked off the whole boom, if you will. I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, there were glasses before that, but I don't think people were as crazy about them until these glasses came out. And that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe there's history that says otherwise, but for now, I'm going to believe that these glasses were the tip of the iceberg, and they just kicked off the whole glass boom of the 1980s. This was just a quick little episode about more glasses from fast food restaurants in the 1980s. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.